On? Yep, good. Okay. And you got the first slide up? No, thank you. Who's running that? Oh, Josh Main. All right. Thank you all for sticking around. I know you've heard kind of my voice long enough, but are you going to stay up here, Mr. Wizard? I'd love to have you up there. Just not behind me. Yeah. Can you do that the whole time I'm talking? No, I bet you couldn't. Not the whole time I'm talking. We wanted to update you on this prayerful search for an epic idea, a place of focus for Newsong Church that was introduced to you a few months ago. And if you recall, we asked you for ideas, things that you felt perhaps passionate about, ideas that you thought, boy, if Newsong pursued this, it could really make a difference in people's lives. And I am just really thrilled with the response we got from the body. We got, I'm quite sure it was over 45 distinct ideas. Some of those ideas came from Newsong as a whole. Just maybe some of you submitted an idea that you thought was kind of epic and meaningful and could make a difference. Some of those ideas came from the board of directors. The board of directors, you recall, is it's all the team leaders in the church, essentially. They come together. We gather them about once a month. And from the elders, the body of 5 that tries to give spiritual oversight, direction, and guidance to the church. So we gathered like 45, 50 or so ideas. But first, I want to share with you what exactly does epic mean in the context of Newsong, the mission, the vision of the church. This next slide, I just thought that this idea would be helpful. And sometimes, the next slide, thank you. I don't know how well the red shows up, but epic is essentially 4 things. One, it is exponential, which means that an epic idea in the church will cause growth. Growth externally and internally. It'll be the breadth and the depth of the body will grow. This is, in other words, not a 1 + 1 = 2 proposition. If an idea really is epic, it will be exponential in the sense that it will shake up the status quo of who we are, what we're trying to do. It will cause exponential, which means multiplication type of growth and depth and impact. Secondly, it will also be participatory. An epic idea will not gather 5 or 6 people around it and then they will go do it. An epic idea in the church means that there is a broad participation in the idea, in the direction. There will be an infusion and a desire for input from those who are early adopters to those who are late adapters. An epic idea in the church will increase participation and thereby decrease and make it very uncomfortable for you just to come here on Sunday morning. An epic idea will kill the 20-80 principle that unfortunately we have developed around here. That about 20% of the people are doing about 80% of the work. That's not a chastisement. That's just simply to say that an epic idea, an epic ministry focus will really cause people to want to be drawn in. Participation may begin with 5 or 6 or 7 people that are really excited about this idea, but it will infuse on out throughout the rest of the body. And Sunday morning sideline ministry just really is going to not be very helpful or exciting. The third, I think, is one of the most interesting, is that an epic idea uses the imagination. It's not just a lockstep kind of thing that we go through. It's more than thinking outside the box. An epic idea blows up the box and looks in a different direction. An epic idea in the church says, what if we speculate and whimsically dream of, could we do this and advance God's kingdom in exponential and participatory ways? An epic idea in ministry is very imaginative and thinks not outside the box, but way in the other direction of the box. It's also catalytic. A catalyst is something that causes other reactions to happen. This idea of an epic focus will be catalytic in that it will develop a life of instigation and enthusiasm all its own. Underneath the level of the church, there will always be a shifting of the ground. And sometimes that can cause discomfort, I recognize, but if we are truly going to be participating in God's kingdom, then there is a catalytic change that needs to take place. And we need to stop doing church, and we need to become the church. So we saw all these great ideas. And the elders and the board of directors looked at these ideas, and we realized let's do all of them was not an option. Let us pick one was not an option, because then we would just be developing our particular bias. And so we created some, what we've called filters, some things to send these ideas through and see if they rise to the level of epic, impactful, exponential, participatory, and catalytic. Next slide. We came up with these 5 filters. And I don't want you to get lost because you've heard my voice too much, and I don't want you to get lost because I'm just like talking on here. We took all 45 or 50 of those ideas, and we asked ourselves these 5 questions. Or we looked at these ideas through the lens of these 5 ideas. Reach and relevance means that an epic idea will cause unchurched people to want to be here, and people who are a part of body will want to come back. Our reach and our relevance will increase with an epic idea. Secondly, with an epic idea, we'll see people's lives changed. We'll see people's lives changed. I cannot stand the thought of being the pastor, and you should not be able to stand the thought of sitting in the chairs week, month, year after year and not see lives changed. Marriage is healed. People grow. Relationships develop. People stop doing things to their body that they shouldn't do, start doing things to their body they should do, etc., etc., etc. An epic idea will help us see lives change. Could be this much, but this much is sometimes how you begin. The third filter or lens we looked at all these ideas through was the idea of simply growth. Was there steady participatory growth in people who are serving, volunteering, in our small groups, in our Sunday morning weekly attendance? If we are not seeing growth in the kingdom of God, I'm not sure it's an epic, powerful God idea. God does not intend us to grow this church backwards. So is there growth occurring through this epic idea? The fourth filter we looked at was financial. Do we see people giving sacrificially in the financial realm consistently? You got an update last week. You'll get another update in a month and a half or so. Fact of the matter is, your finances are a part of your faith journey. Newsong cannot remain on its trajectory that it's on right now financially. If we are not moving toward giving consistently, and I would say tithing, but the elders don't want me to say that, so I won't say it. If we're not moving toward that consistently, well, then it's really not an epic deal. Fifth, this one is hard for me to say. Renewal. Is the median age of this body just simply getting older? Or are we drawing in and impacting the people that we said God wants us to reach? So, we looked at the 45 or 50 epic ideas which were submitted, and we did a couple things with them. One, we looked at them through those 5 filters. 5 filters. We also added 10 more filters because the elders apparently like to meet. Anything you want to say about that? No. Okay, nothing. No, but because we knew that we just needed to keep focusing it down in our prayers and our thoughts. What do we believe? Because, my friends, I want you to hear this. We're not searching for an epic idea because it's a convenient thing to do. We believe God calls churches. We believe God focuses churches because not all church can reach all people. And so can we listen very carefully to God and the body who submitted all these ideas, so you must like some of them. Can we listen to them and find God's common purpose for us? If we're not doing that, then it's just an exercise. And I got enough of those in my life. So we added 10 more filters. I'm not going to read all of those to you. But some of those filters were, for example, will this epic idea impact 2 or 3 of those at least? We are well aware that whatever we do is not going to automatically ratchet up all 5 of those. If you listened pretty carefully to what I was just sharing with you, those are big things. And every one of them at Newsong right now is not a core strength. And so if we're going to really become a church of serious strength and serious missional impact, we just have to look at ideas and pray through them and wonder, God, could this be what you're asking us to do? That does not happen like that. In order to reach the power of the promised land, they wandered for 40 years. Now, clearly God's not going to have us do that because I've told him, clearly you're not going to have us do that. God and I are very clear on this now. But we're not going to just jump on an idea because it's, wow. We're going to look at some ideas because they're God-pacting. Another one of the filters of the additional 10, in addition to these 5, will this idea have 3 or 4 or 5 people that grab onto this idea with passion, capacity, capability, and availability to own it and drive it? This is not going to be Rick's leading this charge, and he's going to be in charge of it all. I am glad to be the point leader of this congregation. But I am almost done with my capacity. I'm almost at my limit. And so this body has to get real serious about 4, 5, and 6 people saying, I'm going to drive that thing. I will still be there as the point leader of this body. We will facilitate, educate, equip, but the epic idea has to rise to the level in which people say, man, I want to be a part of that tightly. another one of the filters, last one I'll highlight, is this idea that raises to the level of epic for us, the one we finally land on. Is this idea doable by this church, by these people at this time? Between me and you, just us. Don't tell the elders this. Listen, I don't really like that one. Because if it's truly going to be an epic idea, then it has to be doable by this people, by this time, at this point, almost. But there has to be a place in there where God says, man, that idea is so awesome. I'm going to help you guys get it done. If it is all about us and our doability and our ability, well, then we've just done a really good thing. But we haven't done a God thing. Remember the message. Go where Jesus says go. Do what Jesus says do. And He has the authority and the power to see it through. So that was one of the filters. So in a second, I'll ask them to bring up the last slide, because I know you all got places to go, things to do, people to see. The last slide, we looked at all of these epic ideas. We looked through the 5 filters, and then we looked through the 10 additional filters, and then we emailed each other back and forth. And it was just really a process of trying to figure out and talking with board of directors. And I've kind of met with people on the side and just gotten some feeling for all this. But the one last thing we did was we realized that these 45 or 50 ideas, man, there are some commonalities between some of them. So like this idea and this idea and this one, they feel like they're kind of the same general area, if you know what I mean, like umbrella purpose. So we looked at these ideas and we linked together some of them. We just simply could not look at all 45, 50 of them and try to link them together. But we thought, well, if we have some of these ideas that are so closely united, then these must be some common areas where people are kind of excited and kind of interested in the ministry. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm describing that very well. Does that make sense? Some of these common areas. Okay. So what we did was we came up in alphabetical order, not order of importance, alphabetical order, 4 areas of epic emphasis. I would not even call these epic ideas. These are epic emphasis. These 4 particular areas. This is the last slide. Go ahead and go to it. The 4 areas of emphasis are these 4. And I'm going to describe each one. A children's ministry emphasis, a home or multi-unit purchase emphasis, a missional emphasis, or an on-campus student ministry emphasis. Let me try in like 5 minutes to wrap us up. So that's like 20 minutes, right? Try. Children's ministry emphasis. I'm going to read to you the descriptions. I don't normally just like read straight out to you, but I want to be very clear. The children's ministry emphasis, epic. To hire a half-time or full-time staff person to develop a strong children's ministry emphasis at Newsong, helping Newsong to become known as a family-strengthening and children's ministry strong church body. This would include, but not be limited to, developing a stronger and more wow kids zone area, creating ministries which reach children in the surrounding community to support and encourage families with children, and linking with ministries and social agencies to support underserved and unchurched families with children. So in other words, this epic thing would rise to the level of helping us develop not only an in-house wow children's ministry, but also an external children's ministry reach. Second one, not in order of importance, alphabetical. a home or multi-unit purchase. This epic emphasis would be for us to purchase homes or multi-unit facilities, renovating them as needed to create a home for those in need. This would likely include a specific target for temporary shelter needs and likely linking with like-minded ministries and agencies, Children's Services, Faith Mission, Alcohol Anonymous, abuse victims, etc., to purchase homes or multi-units, renovating them as needed so that we had transitional housing for people who needed that, particularly linking with agencies in the community. Third grouping of these 45 ideas, a missional emphasis. This would be to develop a ministry to reorient the body toward the walls outside the walls of Newsong, and likely include hiring a part-time or full-time staff person. This would be focusing on local, national, and global mission areas with an initial focus on our 5 miles out that we talk about serving and impacting. This emphasis would prioritize mobilizing our body toward missional outreach and linking with other service-minded agencies and ministries. So in order alphabetical, we have a children's ministry emphasis. We have a home purchasing multi-unit renovation ministry purpose. We have a missional purpose. And then the fourth one, again, grouping together some ideas, was what we termed on-campus student ministries. This would be to decentralize and significantly grow our numbers in our current student ministry and place the emphasis on, quote, serve them where they are strategy. This would be to place our Newsong student ministries within the schools, so to speak, and develop on-campus ministries within the schools and colleges and universities where we have a presence, Westerville, Worthington, Dublin, Mount Vernon, etc., and where we want to have a presence, for example, Otterbein. This would likely include also a full-time hire to coordinate and effectively organize, manage, promote, and respond to this ministry outside and inside the body. So, in looking at these 45 or 50 ministry ideas that you all submitted, and then looking at the filters of, do these ideas, go back a slide. Somebody wake them up and go back a slide. Thank you. Looking at these 45 or so ideas, not only grouping them together as we just did, but first looking at them through these filters of reach and relevance, life change, growth, financial emphasis, and renewal. And then coming together with, next slide, looking at then what are the highest or most focused on areas of epic emphasis. In other words, what you have seen is we didn't choose one epic idea because we didn't feel like that was our role at this time, just to choose one idea. Well, we thought, well, let's look at the commonalities, and because one of the ideas is what excites the body, let's look at the commonalities and share those and then get some feedback, and that's how we'll leave it. You have 2 weeks to shoot me or any one of the elders an email. I think their emails are not in here this week, are they? You remember the Newsong, the elder emails are simply first name dot last name @newsongcommunity.org. First name dot last name @newsongcommunity.org. That would be Deb Eichley, Jeff Islandfield, Jeff Sturm, or myself. I think I did that in alphabetical order, too. So, we're asking you for your thoughts and prayers. If one of these ideas just excites you, or one of these ideas just simply is something you think you could get jazzed about, just let us know. I think we're just looking for general feedback. I'd love to be more specific than that, but we're really not. What about any one of these or all of these kind of excites perhaps something inside of you? Is it a children's ministry emphasis? Is it the on-campus student thing? Is it the buying and renovating thing? Is it the missional, get outside, go kind of ministry emphasis? What we're talking about is this, then I'll conclude. We're talking about what is going to be the engine that drives this church body toward reaching, bringing, discipling. Reaching, impacting, bringing, discipling. You have a couple weeks to do that. I will take just maybe one or two questions and try to create an answer. And then I'll stick around here afterwards. Any general questions? Yes?
I guess I'm trying to figure out how any of those will help the financial goals.
Well, one of the things we talked about in the elders, one of the things we believe that if the church body grows and if the people in the body get excited about the ministry, they would be more likely to want to give consistently, exponentially, and work toward tithing. Good. Another question. Any others? Is your hand up? Go up. Somebody over there? No? Okay. All right. I will expect to be inundated with emails. Thank you all.